Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
My name is Catherine, and today we have a very weather-focused lesson. It's all about all the horrible things that can happen to you with the weather.
Exactly. So as you know, there are many different types of weather, and not only rain or sunshine, but many other phenomena. So we're going to take a look at some of those. But before we go into it, let's take a look at one word on Vocabulary Preview.
Vocabulary Preview.
Okay, so we're talking about extreme weather today. That's not rain or drizzle or sunshine. We're talking about really interesting, unique, and sometimes devastating things that can happen. So today's vocabulary word is Armageddon.
All right, so Armageddon. Now, you've probably seen the movie Armageddon. So what does this word mean?
Okay, so this word is a reference to the end of the world. It means the time when the world will end because of a great catastrophe or a great disaster.
Okay, so everyone talks about Armageddon. It's mentioned in the Bible. And as you say, it's when the world stops existing.
Exactly. So think about that one as we listen to today's dialogue. We will be back in a minute to talk about what's going on.
Those are the headlines for today. And now for the International Weather Report with Mike Sanderson.
Thank you, Bob. This past week has been the beginning of Armageddon for many, as a series of unprecedented meteorological events occurred around the world. In Switzerland, a major avalanche was reported in the Alps. Fortunately, no one was injured. Due to the extreme cold this winter, a blizzard has struck the U.S. Midwest, causing classes in schools and universities to be temporarily canceled. Moving on to Latin America, Ecuador has suffered a 6-month drought that has not only affected farming, but has also forced the closure of the hydroelectric power plant that provides electricity for the entire country. In Chile, a major earthquake that registered 7.5 on the Richter scale struck the southern region. Losses are reported to be in the billions. Authorities have not yet released an official statement.
Not a great week for the world. Any good news?
I'm afraid not, Bob. One of the major volcanoes in Mexico has erupted, causing major floods and landslides in the region. Meanwhile, Mexico's coast has been hit by Hurricane Liliana, and officials say that all the seismic activity leads them to believe that a tsunami may hit Central America, affecting Honduras, Guatemala, and Panama. That's all the news we have for today, but stay tuned for updates on the 6 o'clock news. Back to you, Bob.
All right, we're back. And, well, this weather report is not really far from the truth. I mean, this kind of stuff happens every day all over the world, right?
That's correct. And unfortunately, it's been happening very frequently in the past couple months. We've heard of a lot of earthquakes and volcanoes and things like that. So this is very valuable stuff when you're trying to talk about current events as well.
Okay. So why don't we start now analyzing a couple of different words and phrases on language takeaway.
Language Takeaway.
Well, the first vocabulary item we have here is meteorological event. It's a real mouthful. It's a long word.
Meteorological.
So, for example, meteorological means having to do with the weather, something that's related to the weather. So, a meteorological event could be rain, snow.
Okay, so it has to do with meteorology.
Meteorology is the study of the weather, and someone who does this is a meteorologist.
So usually the weathermen that you see on TV, they're meteorologists.
So let's go now to Marco, our resident meteorologist.
There we go.
Our resident meteorologist.
Right, okay. So meteorological events. Now moving on, one of the first events that we're going to look at is an avalanche.
Avalanche. An avalanche has to do with snow. This means that when a mountain that has a lot of snow on it, maybe part of that snow breaks off and starts to roll down, you have a wall of snow that comes down. That's an avalanche.
That's an avalanche.
So you could say, avalanche. Right. And the snow comes down. And it's actually very dangerous because people can get buried under the snow.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so another event that has to do with snow is a blizzard.
Okay, a blizzard is different from an avalanche because an avalanche, maybe it's not snowing, the snow just falls. But in a blizzard, you're talking about a storm of snow.
But it's like a lot of snow coming down from the sky.
So much snow that you probably can't see anything. There's just white everywhere.
Okay. All right, so that's a blizzard. A lot of snow coming down from the sky. Now, moving on, the opposite of snow and things being wet is we have a drought.
Yeah, this is the opposite of wet, actually. So there's no rain in a drought. A drought means that things are very dry. The land is very dry.
Okay, so it's a period of time that there's no snow, there's no water, there's no rain, there's nothing. It's very, very dry. We're going through a drought.
Correct. And the problem with a drought is very dangerous is because people cannot grow food in a drought. And so lots of people starve when this happens.
Okay, so you got to watch out for a drought. Now, in this case, it not only affected farming, but also we have a hydroelectric power plant that can't work, obviously, because there's no water.
So hydro means water. Hydroelectric means electricity that is generated by flowing water. And so, for example, a mill, something that churns water on a river, is a way to get power from water. But
Right.
a hydroelectric project that can give you electricity is maybe like a dam or an electric mill.
Right. So usually you have these on rivers and they just take advantage of the flowing of water to turn some huge turbines and generate power. So that's all we have for now. Why don't we listen to the dialogue again? And we'll be back shortly to take a look at some more words.
Those are the headlines for today. And now for the International Weather Report with Mike Sanderson.
Thank you, Bob. This past week has been the beginning of Armageddon for many, as a series of unprecedented meteorological events occurred around the world. In Switzerland, a major avalanche was reported in the Alps. Fortunately, no one was injured. Due to the extreme cold this winter, a blizzard has struck the U.S. Midwest, causing classes in schools and universities to be temporarily canceled. Moving on to Latin America, Ecuador has suffered a 6-month drought that has not only affected farming, but has also forced the closure of the hydroelectric power plant that provides electricity for the entire country. In Chile, a major earthquake that registered 7.5 on the Richter scale struck the southern region. Losses are reported to be in the billions. Authorities have not yet released an official statement.
Not a great week for the world. Any good news?
I'm afraid not, Bob. One of the major volcanoes in Mexico has erupted, causing major floods and landslides in the region. Meanwhile, Mexico's coast has been hit by Hurricane Liliana, and officials say that all the seismic activity leads them to believe that a tsunami may hit Central America, affecting Honduras, Guatemala, and Panama. That's all the news we have for today, but stay tuned for updates on the 6 o'clock news. Back to you, Bob.
Well, a word that many people are unfortunately familiar with is Richter or Richter scale. And now this is something that a lot of people are talking about right now because of the earthquake in Sichuan, China last year, and the earthquake in Haiti very recently. And so the Richter scale, that's a big R because it's a proper name, is a way for us to determine how severe, how big the earthquake was.
Right, so people talk about a 6.0, a 7.1, so that's on the Richter scale.
The lowest is 0 and the highest is 10, correct?
Right, but 10 is like impossible, apparently.
Apparently, and a lot of them are actually underwater, but the very serious ones are maybe 8.0, 7.0.
All right, so Richter scale. Now, we talked about earthquakes, we talked about snowing. Now, let's talk about a volcano. A volcano in Mexico has erupted.
Okay, so we've got two words here, volcano. A volcano is a mountain that has an opening in the center where lava from the middle of the earth, the center of the earth, can come out. So it's very dangerous, obviously, because it's very hot.
Right.
But a volcano doesn't open, it erupts. So the verb here that we use with a volcano is to erupt.
Okay, so it doesn't explode, a volcano erupts.
That means to open violently, very quickly.
Okay, so when this happens, obviously you have a lot of lava, you have maybe snow that melts, and you have floods and landslides.
Okay, landslides. A landslide is one word, but it's made up of two words that you probably already know. So land, obviously, it's the ground and
the
things
earth.
like that, the earth. But a slide is to move down across the ground. And so a landslide happens when you've got something like lava or water that's pushing all of the earth, all of the ground down, and it's destroying houses and trees and land, and it's very, very destructive.
Right. So you usually see this that happens on the side of mountains or on the side of hills where all that land starts to slide down or to go down. And it's very similar to an avalanche, right? But instead of snow falling down, it's land.
Mud and land.
Mud, yeah. All right. So we have a landslide. And because of all the eruptions and the earthquakes, they said that they have a lot of seismic activity.
This word seismic is something that I've heard a lot recently in movies like 2012.
Yeah.
So seismic means having to do with the movement of the plates under the Earth's crust. So, the Earth is not everything that we see. It's also activity, things happening underneath the ground.
Right.
And so underneath the ground, we have these big plates, and seismic activity is what happens when these kind of things start to move. Activity is movement. And so seismic activity refers to earthquakes and volcanoes, things that are changing under the ground that will affect us.
Okay. So that's seismic activity. It's pronounced seismic, right?
Seismic. That's
Seismic.
correct.
Okay. And because of all this activity, people say that they may have a tsunami.
Well, this doesn't sound very English, does it?
I know, tsunami. And actually, if you see the spelling, it's with a T, T-S.
Right, I think it's a Japanese word, but I'm not
I
positive.
think so, too.
Tsunami is the name that we give to a giant tidal wave. So that's a wave of water in the ocean that's very, very dangerous because it can get to 100, 200 feet tall. And this means that when it comes down, it can destroy houses, cities, cars, things like that.
Right.
And there was a very, very famous tsunami in Southeast Asia in 2004. Do you remember that?
Yeah, and in Indonesia, right?
That's right, in Indonesia and Thailand and Vietnam.
Yeah, it was intense. It was big. And it was also because of an earthquake, right?
I think so. All these earthquakes, they move the earth around, and then all of a sudden the reaction is that there's water that moves,
This
and the water
huge wave.
then turns into a wave.
Yeah, just imagine what happens if you have a bucket of water and then you start moving the bucket just a little bit and you see how water starts to splat all over the place.
That's right.
All right, so tsunami was our last word for today. Why don't we listen to our dialogue again, and we'll be back shortly.
Those are the headlines for today. And now for the International Weather Report with Mike Sanderson.
Thank you, Bob. This past week has been the beginning of Armageddon for many, as a series of unprecedented meteorological events occurred around the world. In Switzerland, a major avalanche was reported in the Alps. Fortunately, no one was injured. Due to the extreme cold this winter, a blizzard has struck the U.S. Midwest, causing classes in schools and universities to be temporarily canceled. Moving on to Latin America, Ecuador has suffered a 6-month drought that has not only affected farming, but has also forced the closure of the hydroelectric power plant that provides electricity for the entire country. In Chile, a major earthquake that registered 7.5 on the Richter scale struck the southern region. Losses are reported to be in the billions. Authorities have not yet released an official statement.
Not a great week for the world. Any good news?
I'm afraid not, Bob. One of the major volcanoes in Mexico has erupted, causing major floods and landslides in the region. Meanwhile, Mexico's coast has been hit by Hurricane Liliana, and officials say that all the seismic activity leads them to believe that a tsunami may hit Central America, affecting Honduras, Guatemala, and Panama. That's all the news we have for today, but stay tuned for updates on the 6 o'clock news. Back to you, Bob.
So, Marco, these are all pretty terrifying. Have you ever experienced a meteorological event like one of the ones that we talked about today?
I've actually lived it through like 3 earthquakes, like pretty big ones.
Well, that's because you used to live in Los
In
Angeles.
LA. So we get them all the time in LA. Apart from that, I've seen a volcano erupt a couple of times because Ecuador is part of the volcano alley, right? It's all the Andes mountains, and it's part of the circle of fire, what they call. So we have a couple of different active volcanoes, and from time to time they will start to smoke or to spew some lava, but nothing major. Like there hasn't been a major catastrophe with the volcanoes. Hopefully it won't either.
Well, and these days they have a lot of equipment, seismic equipment and meteorological equipment that can help meteorologists to determine when things will happen, like when a volcano will erupt or if there will be an earthquake, because they can study the tremors in the ground.
Right. Yeah, and I think probably the most famous volcano is, I think it was in Italy, right? Mount Vesuvius.
That's right. So you've got Mount Vesuvius in Naples, which famously destroyed a number of cities in this ancient civilization and ancient
What is a major
Roman times.
eruption?
It was, and what's amazing is that they still have a lot of the buildings
Underground,
under
right?
the ash.
Wow.
Because when all the ash settled, it preserved the bodies like a mummy.
That's
and so you
crazy.
can see the bodies and the things that they, their jewelry and their money, and it's fascinating because it's this horrible, horrible natural disaster actually helped us in the future learn about this old civilization.
Yeah, it's crazy. Actually, in Ecuador, you can see a huge hole that has like a lake in the middle, and you're like, oh wow, that's beautiful. But that's actually caused because the entire mountain just kind of blew the top off, like the cone, because of this major eruption. So you can just imagine how
Wow.
powerful these eruptions are. I can just imagine what it would have been like Mount Vesuvius. But anyway, on a brighter note, if you have any questions, any comments, or any stories of your own, maybe you've lived through a typhoon, a hurricane, or tornado, you can come to our website, englishpod.com.
We hope to see you there.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye. The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
Great snow. Blizzard. A prolonged period of scanty rainfall. Drought. A very big rain and windstorm. Hurricane. A large sea wave produced by an earthquake. Tsunami. Something tech relating to or caused by an earthquake. Seismic activity.
Let's try that faster.
A very big rain and windstorm. Hurricane. A prolonged period of scanty rainfall. Drought. Something tech relating to or caused by an earthquake. Seismic activity. Great snow. Blizzard. A large sea wave produced by an earthquake. Tsunami.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Blizzard.
With the blizzard came strong gusts of wind, freezing temperatures, and near zero visibility because of all the blowing snow.
Blizzard.
The blizzard warning will remain in effect until tomorrow morning, when the winds will die down to about 30 kilometers per hour.
Blizzard.
If you really need to venture out into that blizzard with your car, you are going to have to go at a crawl because of the near whiteout conditions and the danger of drifting.
Drought.
The lack of rain in the spring and the above average temperatures caused a drought in the late summer.
Drought.
We have to start conserving water because of the drought.
Drought.
For about half a decade in the 1930s, the prairies in Canada and the United States experienced a severe drought, during which there were numerous dust storms, and the land became a wasteland.
Hurricane.
Several mudslides occurred in this region shortly after the hurricane passed through.
Hurricane.
North Atlantic hurricanes are formed off the tip of Africa, build as they travel across the Atlantic Ocean, and then finally hit the Caribbean and the southern United States at full force.
Hurricane.
The weather became very calm all of a sudden, and we knew that the eye of the hurricane was passing over us.
Seismic activity.
He measured the earthquakes using a seismograph and noticed the increase in seismic activity.
Seismic activity.
Seismic activity can cause new land masses to form and the destruction of others.
Seismic activity.
The seismic activity caused earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and multiple tsunamis.
Tsunami.
When there is a massive earthquake on the ocean floor, a lot of water is displaced, forming a tsunami as this water travels towards land.
Tsunami.
The Indian Ocean tsunami in 2004 was caused by one of the largest earthquakes ever recorded.
Tsunami.
She looked out over the land, still flooded in areas by water left by the tsunami that had ravaged her home just days before.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to English Pod. My name is Marco.
My name is Catherine, and today we're talking about a dream home. So building the home of your dreams.
That's right, and this lesson today is advanced, so it might be a little bit hard. And we're going to be taking a look at not only some vocabulary related to your home or decorations and stuff, but also how to treat your loved one in a nice way, or little, what do you call them, nicknames?
Cute names, pet names.
Pet names.
That's right.
Okay.
So stay tuned. We'll be talking about very specific things having to do with building a home and home remodeling. And so we'll hear this dialogue one time, but when we're back in just a minute here, we'll be talking about what those things are.
Mr. and Mrs. Robinson, let's get straight to it. You have saved up your money for years and are now ready to build your dream home. What did you have in mind?
A suburban bungalow straight out of the 60s. A perfect lawn with minimal landscaping, a brick patio in the backyard with an old-fashioned grill, quaint lawn furniture, and a swimming pool. A 2-car carport, pastel siding, and a gable roof, completed with white shutters and a white picket fence.
Honey?
In the living room, we would have moss green rugs and a fireplace with a stone mantel and wood paneling on the walls. In the kitchen, the cupboards would be a pale yellow, and we would have a turquoise metal oven and vinyl flooring.
Sweetie, but I was thinking of more a modern style house, an open concept house, all glass, wood, metal, and concrete.
But sweetums, there's always a lot of wasted space in those kinds of homes. Besides, it's just a fad. It doesn't have the homey feeling the old homes do.
Sweetie pie, it's not a lot of wasted space. It is relaxing, and the house would be eco-friendly with an in-floor heating system and designed to retain the heat of the sun in the winter and keep the house cool in the summer. We would have solar panels on the roof.
Do you know how much those things cost?
What about your vintage furniture, dearest? And instead of a lawn, which is also a lot of wasted space and would require environmentally harmful pesticides, we would have a fish pond in the backyard and a garden that would cover the whole yard so we could grow our own food.
But Buttercup, I thought you always said that you love visiting your grandmother's house.
And I thought you, Mr. Scientist, were all up on saving the planet with your technological advancements.
Well, I am just going to get some coffee while you two keep discussing. All right, we're back. So apparently the couple can't seem to agree. He wants something different than what she does, and in the end, I think they were a little bit irritated with each other.
Doesn't this always happen, though? I mean, my dream home is probably not your dream home.
I don't know. It's weird. But, I mean, you would probably have to, I don't know, compensate somehow or
well, that's the beauty of compromise. I think you can go back and forth, but with your loved one or your spouse, you have to make some decisions about what you want and what they want.
All you need to do is give a guy his own room in which he can decorate and do whatever he wants with it. That's all you need. No, not me, just any guy. Just, you want to decorate the house in any way you want, fine, but just give us one room, like 5 meters by 5 meters where we can put anything we want.
A beer cooler, a TV, a PS3, a sound system, and a couple guitars.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. That's you described it.
I've been to your house, I know. Anyway, we've got a lot of great words here in language takeaways, so let's take a peek at some of those.
Language takeaway.
All right, so the first word that we have, or it's actually a concept, minimal landscaping.
Okay, so minimal is a style, minimalist actually, and minimal landscaping is this kind of style of, designing your lawn or your garden.
Okay.
So minimal means not having adornments or decorations.
Okay. So it's kind of like the less is more type thing.
Exactly. So minimal architecture could be very simple, lots of clean lines, not much decoration. It's the opposite of something that's baroque and highly ornamented.
Yeah, and I don't like that. I'm into minimal. All right, minimalist. Anyways, we have minimal landscaping. And he's talking about his patio and an old-fashioned grill. And he said quaint lawn furniture.
Quaint is sometimes, it's usually kind of a bad thing. We say something is quaint in the way of saying that it's cute, but we don't really like it because it's maybe old-fashioned or, kind of old style. Mm-hmm. So, isn't that quaint? It's something that people from the city often say about people in the country, at least in America. So, because, I went to school on the East Coast and I'm from the Midwest. So people on the East Coast would say, "Oh, your house is so quaint. It's, small and cute and old fashioned."
Right.
Because they live in a big, fancy New York apartment or whatever. So quaint is usually something that's not the nicest, but.
So he's looking for some lawn furniture that's not like plastic or new. It's more like old fashioned, maybe wood, right?
Right, and kind of traditional and not fancy.
Okay.
It's kind of simple. Mm-hmm.
Now he's also talking about the house, and he wants a 2-car carport, pastel siding, and a gable roof. So now we know what a roof is, but what is a gable roof?
A gable is a thing, right? And it's almost like an extension of the roof in certain parts. For example, on a traditional Cape Cod style house, you have windows in the front that they're not a part of the roof. They're an extension.
They're kind of like
come out.
popping out like eyes.
Exactly. They're coming out like eyes. And so the roof, obviously you need a roof on top of those windows. So that kind of roof, that little extension, that's called a gable.
Okay.
And so there's a wonderful book that's famous in American history called The House of Seven Gables. That means that on this roof of the house, there are 7 different parts that come out. 7
cool.
gables. It's very unique.
Those houses usually look a little bit scary.
They do. Victorian and imposing.
All right. So you have a gable roof. Now you have shutters and a white picket fence. This is typical. Everyone talks about a white picket fence around their house.
That's right. There was even a TV show in America years ago called Picket Fences.
Really?
And I think a picket fence is kind of this ideal in American culture about having your own home in the suburbs and having your own space. And so around your yard, around your garden, you have this white picket fence. And so a picket is I think the pointed part. So a picket fence is thin pieces of wood that stand in the ground and are connected to protect your property from other people coming inside.
Okay. So that's a white picket fence. You'll hear it all the time. Usually in movies or in TV shows, they talk about having their own little house with their dog and a white picket fence.
Exactly. 2 kids, 2 cars.
And a white picket fence. All right. So now the woman argued that she wanted something a little bit more modern. And, the guy said, you know what? That's, it's just wasted space. And those types of homes are just a fad.
A fad. So a fad is something that is passing. It's something that's popular for a short time, but then it goes away. It's not popular anymore.
Right.
So,
for example, I think for a while, remember those shoes? They used to have little red lights in the back in the heel.
oh yeah, LA Lights.
LA Lights.
That's right.
Those were a fad. It
Absolutely.
was really popular for like a year. Everyone had them. Everyone wore them, and then they just went away.
One of my favorite fads of the 1980s were those shirts that would change color if the room temperature changed color. So if you go outside and it's hot, they would become bright pink. But if you're in a cold room, they would go blue and green. It was really fun, but they're definitely out of fashion these
I don't
days.
think they wear them anymore. So that's a fad. That's something that's temporary. It's popular for a while. So he called her house a fad, and she says, well, what about your house? All this vintage furniture. What's vintage?
Vintage, well, some people think that vintage is a fad. A lot of people really enjoy buying vintage furniture or vintage clothing. Vintage means old.
Old.
So
It's a nice way of saying old, or like a nice or cool way of saying old.
yeah, so it's almost like, for example, right now, 1940s and 50s clothes are very popular. A lot of girls are into this kind of style, so it's called, vintage clothing because it's not from today's styles. It's
Right.
an old style. Or you could even call, those big flowing dresses from the 1970s vintage clothing. So vintage furniture would be furniture that comes from a different time, a different era, and
But
that
they're
it's
still-
popular now.
Right, they're popular now. Or people like to buy them now.
That's right. So they're special because they come from a different time.
Okay. So those are the words that we have for today on Language Takeaway. Why don't we move on now to some pet names or some sweet ways that you can call your loved ones on Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
So the reason this dialogue is very funny is because we have these two people who are clearly in disagreement about the kinds of furniture and house they want, but they're being so nice to each other. They have these cute names for each other. So it's really, I don't know, it's really funny.
It almost seems like they're newlyweds, but apparently they've been saving up their entire life. So maybe they're just one of those really loving couples.
Oh, sweetums, cutie pie, cutie.
All right. So that's the
Babe.
first one. Sweetums.
Sweetums. So obviously the main part of this word is sweet. Sweetums. This is a way to say, hey, sweetie.
Okay.
Sweetums.
Sweetums. So you can say sweetie or sweetums.
Exactly.
And that's a nice way of saying to somebody. Or you can go sweetie pie.
Sweetie pie. So pie is a food, It's like
Pie is
it's a
sweet.
dessert. It's a sweet. So sweetie pie. Or you could say honey pie.
Honey pie, sweetie pie.
So these are all cute. And the nice thing about these kind of pet names, these cute names, is you can change them if you want. And they're yours. So you could say, honey pie, sugar bun. They're silly, but there's no real rule. But these are the most common.
Right.
Sweetums and sweetie pie.
Okay. Now, moving on to something a little bit maybe more formal. Dearest.
Dearest. This makes me think of my grandparents.
Oh, really?
Dearest. So dearest comes from dear. Dearest is the most dear. So someone who's the most important to you.
Okay.
And so you could say mummy dearest, mother dearest.
Oh, really? You heard that somewhere?
Oh, yeah.
Do people call that their mothers like mother dearest?
Mother dearest. No, it's very 1930s.
I'm so arrogant.
It is, well, it's an old time thing. It's not, we do not say this anymore, but
Yeah.
you can say, well, dearest, would you mind moving the car, please?
I like the accent you put, kind of like English. All right. And the last one, Buttercup. This is really popular.
This is really popular, and you've heard this in a song before. You want to sing the song? You want me to sing the
No,
song?
you sing the song. Why do you build
Why do you build me up? Buttercup, baby.
yeah.
Okay, so that was in a lot of movies. The word is buttercup.
Buttercup.
Also in the movie The Princess Bride was the character Princess Buttercup. And so this is a sweet, obviously a sweet thing. I think a buttercup is a flower.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so these are all words you can use, names you could use with men and women, but buttercup is mostly women. I think the other ones are more general.
But do you think, like, do guys say to their loved ones, like, sweetie pie?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so I guess, guys, if you want to be really sweet and you want to win over the hearts of the ladies, you can use these words as well.
Another popular one is babe,
Babe.
which is more of a young person thing to say.
Yeah, I think it's more modern as well. Babe.
Honey or babe.
Baby.
Baby. You're verging on not so sweet.
No, but like, hey, baby, how are you? It's like, nice.
No,
but like, not like, hey, baby.
All right. Well, we're going to leave you with that thought and go listen to this dialogue one more time, but we'll be back in a moment.
Mr. and Mrs. Robinson, let's get straight to it. You have saved up your money for years and are now ready to build your dream home. What did you have in mind?
A suburban bungalow straight out of the 60s. A perfect lawn with minimal landscaping, a brick patio in the backyard with an old-fashioned grill, quaint lawn furniture, and a swimming pool. A 2-car carport, pastel siding, and a gable roof, completed with white shutters and a white picket fence.
Honey?
In the living room, we would have moss green rugs and a fireplace with a stone mantel and wood paneling on the walls. In the kitchen, the cupboards would be a pale yellow, and we would have a turquoise metal oven and vinyl flooring.
Sweetie, but I was thinking of more a modern style house, an open concept house, all glass, wood, metal, and concrete.
But sweetums, there's always a lot of wasted space in those kinds of homes. Besides, it's just a fad. It doesn't have the homey feeling the old homes do.
Sweetie Pie, it's not a lot of wasted space. It is relaxing, and the house would be eco-friendly with an in-floor heating system and designed to retain the heat of the sun in the winter and keep the house cool in the summer. We would have solar panels on the roof.
Do you know how much those things cost?
What about your vintage furniture, dearest? And instead of a lawn, which is also a lot of wasted space and would require environmentally harmful pesticides, we would have a fish pond in the backyard and a garden that would cover the whole yard so we could grow our own food.
But Buttercup, I thought you always said that you love visiting your grandmother's house.
And I thought you, Mr. Scientist, were all up on saving the planet with your technological advancements.
Well, I am just going to get some coffee while you two keep discussing.
All right, we're back. So, apart from this, decorations and stuff, do you agree with the vintage home, the more like minimalist thing, or do you like the open concept one, the bigger one?
I love the look of minimalism, but as a place to live, it's not comfortable, right? And so when I think of an aesthetic that I like, a look that I like, I really like kind of dark wood, velvety, 19th century kind of.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, I think of old Vienna.
You like Castle Dracula?
No, not dark. I like things to be open. And I like a lot of natural light, but I also like oversized, kind of heavy furniture and really luscious fabrics and things like that. So that's
I'm actually completely different because I do like this open concept. I like those houses that... I like the way they look inside as well as outside when they're kind of squared, big windows, clean lines. Inside is like, for example, in the kitchen, you have polished aluminum or polished steel furniture in the kitchen, as well as a lot of white and red or black, especially. I kind of like that kind of open spaces.
primary colors.
Yeah. Flat screen TVs on the wall and stuff like that. Like
remote controls.
IKEA lamps. Yeah, like those remote controls where you can open your curtains, your TV, and the lights all at the same time. I kind of like that stuff.
Cool. Well, let us know what you guys like because everyone has their own opinion on what a beautiful house is. And if you have any pictures, feel free to share them with us on our website, englishpod.com.
All right. We'll see you guys there.
Bye.
Bye. The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
Something you really want to do. Dream. Place where a person lives. Home. Located or residing in a suburb. Suburban. A house which is built on one level. Bungalow. The years from 1960 to 1969. The 60s. The smallest possible amount or size. Minimal. A view across an area of land. Landscaping. An area of the garden with a hard surface. Patio. Unusual or old-fashioned. Quaint. A place where you park your car. Carport. A kind of dry colour in sticks. Pastel. Material attached to the outside of a building. Siding. The triangular upper part of a wall. Gable. The top of a building. Roof. Covers unfold in front of a window. Shutter. The shelf above a fireplace. Mantel. Sheets of wood fit into a frame to form a wall. Panelling. A bluish-green precious stone. Turquoise. Firm plastic which can be bent. Vinyl. Used as a term of endearment. Sweetums. Fashion. Fad. Having a feeling of home, comfortable. Homey. Used as a term of endearment. Sweetie pie. Not harmful to the environment. Eco-friendly. Installed in the floor. In-floor. A system for keeping rooms warm. Heating. To keep or keep possession. Retain. Relating to the sun, using its light. Solar. A flat section of a wall, door. Panel. Representative of the best and most typical. Vintage. Used as terms of endearment. Dearest. A chemical substance used to kill insects. Pesticide. A creature living in water. Fish. A small body of water. Pond. A plant with small yellow flowers. Buttercup. Based on scientific and industrial progress. Technological. Improvement or development. Advancements. A fence consisting of pickets. Picket fence. A form or style of room. Open concept. Have all knowledge or information of something. All up on.
Let's try that faster.
A bluish-green precious stone. Turquoise. Unusual or old-fashioned. Quaint. Place where a person lives. Home. The triangular upper part of a wall. Gable. An area of the garden with a hard surface. Patio. Based on scientific and industrial progress. Technological. The top of a building. Roof. Material attached to the outside of a building. Siding. Used as a term of endearment. Sweetums. Used as terms of endearment. Dearest. Firm plastic which can be bent. Vinyl. Something you really want to do. Dream. The years from 1960 to 1969. The 60s. Representative of the best and most typical. Vintage. Improvement or development. Advancements. A system for keeping rooms warm. Heating. A chemical substance used to kill insects. Pesticide. A view across an area of land. Landscaping. A house which is built on one level. Bungalow. Installed in the floor. In floor. Having a feeling of home, comfortable. Homey. Located or residing in a suburb. Suburban. To keep or keep possession. Retain. Fashion. Fad. A place where you park your car. Carport. A fence consisting of pickets. Picket fence. A form or style of room. Open concept. A small body of water. Pond. Relating to the sun, using its light. Solar. A creature living in water. Fish. Covers unfold in front of a window. Shutter. Not harmful to the environment. Eco-friendly. The shelf above a fireplace. Mantle. A plant with small yellow flowers. Buttercup. Sheets of wood fit into a frame to form a wall. Panelling. The smallest possible amount or size. Minimal. Used as a term of endearment. Sweetie pie. Have all knowledge or information of something. All up on. A flat section of a wall, door. Panel. A kind of dry colour in sticks. Pastel.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Picket fence. The only thing holding in the cattle is the old wooden picket fence, so it's no wonder that the bull so easily charged through it and escaped. Picket fence. In her daydreams, she always imagined herself newly married and living in a house with a white picket fence in a picturesque countryside. Picket fence. My mother grew up in a neighbourhood where everyone's yard was enclosed by a picket fence. Nowadays, some of those fences are still standing, but most of them have been replaced by chain-link fences. Vinyl. When my family renovated our kitchen, we took up the old vinyl flooring and put down a hardwood floor. Vinyl. I love the vinyl floor in the bathroom because though it is made to look like tile, it is warmer and softer on bare feet. Vinyl. My friend is a vinyl fanatic. He has vinyl records, vinyl floors, vinyl clothing, a vinyl couch, and even the siding on his house is vinyl. Open concept. A popular trend in architecture right now is designing open concept buildings. Open concept. Open concept homes are spacious and bright, but the effect is only truly achieved when the decor is consistent between the adjoining rooms. Open concept. The open concept and soothing colours of the hotel lobby took my breath away as I walked through the revolving door. Eco-friendly. Carrying your groceries in a reusable cloth bag is more eco-friendly than using a new plastic one. Eco-friendly. My neighbours told me that they spray their lawn with an eco-friendly fertilizer. Eco-friendly. It seems that more and more businesses are becoming concerned about protecting the environment and are using their eco-friendly practices and values as a key point in their advertisements. All up on. A friend of mine is all up on the latest trends in fashion. All up on. When I was in high school, I was all up on finding a cure for cancer, but then I went to university and discovered that my real passion was composing music. All up on. My brother is an advocate for environmental awareness, so he's all up on crazy facts like how long it takes for a piece of plastic to disintegrate and how many fish die per year from ingesting garbage floating around in the ocean.
Hello everyone and welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
My name is Catherine, and today we're talking about one of our favorite subjects, food.
That's right, and on this occasion we are going to talk about Chinese food, specifically stir fry.
Okay, this is a common dish in America and all over the world, thanks to the many Cantonese people who came over from Hong Kong or southern China and brought these delicious foods to our cities. So this is a very popular dish you'll be learning more about. So let's jump right in and listen to today's dialogue. And don't be worried if you don't understand everything. We'll be back in a moment.
Oh man, I had the best supper last night. My wife made a stir fry and it was amazing.
I love stir fry. Crispy bite-sized vegetables covered in a mixture of soy sauce and oyster sauce. Wilted greens and fresh bean sprouts. Throw in some onion and garlic and ginger. It's almost lunchtime. I would die for a plate of stir fry right now.
Well, you can keep the vegetables. I'll take the meat. The stir fry my wife made was really hearty, with chunks of beef and slivers of bell peppers and onion.
What? You call that a stir fry? More meat than vegetables? That's the worst insult you could throw at a Chinese stir fry. What a disgrace to the wok she fried it in. What you had is equivalent to a fajita without the wrap.
All right, we're back. So you probably heard a lot of different vegetables and ingredients in this dish. So why don't we take a look at some of those now in language takeaway.
Language takeaway.
The first two phrases that we have, actually, they're not words, they're phrases, are the names of sauces that are very, very important to Chinese food. The first one is soy sauce.
Okay, soy sauce. And it's this black sauce, right? And it's
Very
made
salty.
Very salty. And it's made from
Soybeans.
soybeans. Okay.
Soy. So soy is a bean, a vegetable product, but soy sauce is a thin, black, salty sauce.
Okay, and it's very, very common to use it with Chinese dishes especially. It's very related. You usually have sushi with soy sauce.
Exactly. So Japanese food use a lot of this too.
All right, and the other sauce that's not very common in our countries is oyster sauce.
Okay, an oyster is an animal that lives in the sea. It lives in a shell, and we often eat oysters as a dish. But oyster sauce is stinky, thick, dark sauce that is very popular in Southeast Asian, so Vietnamese food as well, and Chinese food.
Okay. So it's part of the ingredients of Chinese food. It's really good. It smells terrible, but
stinky.
But when you mix it with food and you cook it, it adds a very, very good flavor.
Absolutely.
All right, so that's the sauces. Now, apart from sauces, we have some vegetables, and some of those are bean sprouts.
Bean sprouts are very common vegetables, especially in Asian food. So you see a lot of these. They're usually almost white, almost clear, and they're crunchy. And they have a little green part at the end.
Right, so they're like little straws with a little green point at the end.
So usually those go into your dish at the very end because they cook quickly. Bean sprouts.
Okay. Now, if you're cooking stir fry, what you need is the correct tools. And the main tool that you need is a wok.
That's right. So a wok is actually a word that we take from, I think, Cantonese. I'm not positive. I don't speak Cantonese. But in English, we normally say frying pan.
Okay.
But this is a special Asian frying pan that's very, very large and very thin. So foods cook quickly in a wok.
Okay, and it's not like the other pans where it has a big flat part. It's very, very round all over.
That's right. It's almost like a bowl that sits on your stove and you cook quickly in a wok.
All right, so that's a wok. And, well, the guy compared his stir fry to a fajita. Now, fajita, that's not Chinese.
And it's not English.
Okay.
Well, it is English now. It's actually the name of a food from Latin America. So South America and Mexico and Central America. I think more Mexican than anything. And it's like slivers of meat, so thin strips of meat and vegetables that you eat in a tortilla bread almost. The tortilla is very, very thin corn or flour pancake.
Yeah, so that's a fajita. It's kind of, you've probably seen it, a fajita or maybe what's commonly known as well as a burrito, which actually is also an American invention. I don't think that exists in Mexico.
No, but they are delicious. I think the word is Tex-Mex.
Yeah,
Texas
Tex-Mex.
Mexican, so Tex-Mex.
All right. So that's what we have for you on Language Takeaway. Why don't we go back to our dialogue, listen to it again, and we'll be back shortly. Oh man, I had the best supper last night. My wife made a stir fry and it was amazing.
I love stir fry. Crispy bite-sized vegetables covered in a mixture of soy sauce and oyster sauce. Wilted greens and fresh bean sprouts. Throw in some onion and garlic and ginger. It's almost lunchtime. I would die for a plate of stir fry right now.
Well, you can keep the vegetables. I'll take the meat. The stir fry my wife made was really hearty, with chunks of beef and slivers of bell peppers and onion.
What? You call that a stir fry? More meat than vegetables? That's the worst insult you could throw at a Chinese stir fry. What a disgrace to the wok she fried it in. What you had is equivalent to a fajita without the wrap.
All right, we're back. So now I think we should take a look at some of those phrases that were used in this dialogue in Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
The first phrase we have in Fluency Builder is a phrase that you will hear very often when you watch cooking shows. So this is a term we say throw in, to throw in.
Okay, so throw in some vegetables or throw in some onion and garlic, and that means to just put it into the pan, put it into the pot.
That's right, but it's very general or casual or easy. You just add some. If we want to be specific, we can say, please add 1 cup chopped onion. Okay? 1 cup of chopped onion. But here, throw in just means add casually.
Okay, add some onion. So we throw in all of these ingredients and it sounds so delicious that the guy says, I would die for a plate of stir fry right about now.
So that means he wants some stir fry. I would die for is a good thing. It's a way to say I really want something.
It's an exaggeration. It's not like you would actually die for it or you are dying to eat it. It's just that it's an exaggeration means that you really, really want it.
I would die for a new car. My car is old and it never really works.
All right, so you really want a new car. Okay. And, well, the guy obviously didn't really like what he was talking about and how he cooked this stir fry. And he said, what a disgrace to the wok she fried it in.
Okay, this is a way to say that something is bad. It's embarrassing. So we can say that this food is a disgrace to Chinese food because Chinese food is one way, but this doesn't even look like Chinese food.
So a disgrace. So the word disgrace, it means that something is bad.
or embarrassing to something
Embarrassing.
else. So a parent can say, "You're a disgrace to this family." That means this family has a good reputation, but what you did, what you do, these are bad things. They make us look bad.
They're embarrassing.
They're embarrassing to us.
Okay.
So it's a very strong phrase. This is a disgrace.
Okay. A disgrace. Very good. A strong phrase, and you can use it if you ever want to talk about someone or something in this way. But remember, it is pretty strong, right?
Very.
If you say somebody's a disgrace, it's pretty insulting.
It's hurtful.
Okay. So why don't we listen to our dialogue for one last time, and we'll be back. Oh, man. I had the best supper last night. My wife made a stir fry, and it was amazing.
I love stir fry. Crispy bite-sized vegetables covered in a mixture of soy sauce and oyster sauce. Wilted greens and fresh bean sprouts. Throw in some onion and garlic and ginger. It's almost lunchtime. I would die for a plate of stir fry right now.
Well, you can keep the vegetables. I'll take the meat. The stir fry my wife made was really hearty, with chunks of beef and slivers of bell peppers and onion.
What? You call that a stir fry? More meat than vegetables? That's the worst insult you could throw at a Chinese stir fry. What a disgrace to the wok she fried it in. What you had is equivalent to a fajita without the wrap.
All right, so talking about Chinese food, there are a lot of American inventions around Chinese food as well, not only Mexican food. For example, it's very popular, this dish chop suey.
That's right, chop suey. And I think I read somewhere that chop suey is actually might have been a Cantonese dish that came from all of the leftovers and kind of garbage in the kitchen where you would just fry it together and it was a cheap, easy meal. So chop suey.
Okay.
It's kind of like an English, it's like a pidgin English.
And well, this dish is basically that, right? It's just a lot of meat chunks mixed with some vegetables, and you have some chop suey.
Exactly.
And there are also this other thing that's very common. People think about fortune cookies. You think of Chinese restaurants and Chinese food, you think of fortune cookies.
That's right, but they don't have fortune cookies in China.
No, they
One of my
don't.
biggest disappointments. So fortune cookie is a small cookie with a
Message inside.
So you have a piece of paper. So be careful when you're eating these. You don't want to eat the paper. But the paper sometimes says very strange things like, "You will have a terrific number 7.
Right, or something like that. So that's why they're fortune cookies. They usually talk about your future or what's going to
Beware
happen.
of whales.
So, but that's also an American invention that doesn't exist in China. It doesn't really come from China, right?
Exactly.
All right. So if you have any other information about food, or we're always glad to hear it.
Because we're always hungry. Or if you have a favorite Chinese food, please let us know. Our website is englishpod.com. We can't wait to hear from you, and we will talk to you next time.
All right. Bye. Hello, everyone, and welcome to English Pod. My name is Marco.
My name is Catherine, and today we're looking for a new job.
That's right. We are looking for a new job, and so we're bringing you this great lesson where we're going to teach you in English a lot of terms related with looking for a job or things like a resume, cover letter. So before we get on into that, why don't we take a look at a word that we have in Vocabulary Preview.
Vocabulary preview.
So this is actually the name of a job. It's a position. It's a gas station attendant.
Okay, a gas station attendant. Now we know what a gas station is, right?
That's right. It's a place where you go to fill your car with gas.
Okay. So an attendant at a gas station, what does he do?
He or she is a person who will help you put the gas in your car. So an attendant is someone who is almost like an assistant or a helper.
Okay.
You can have a bathroom attendant, someone who gives you a towel after you wash
I've
your hands.
seen those in the fancy restaurants.
Yeah, so gas station attendant.
All right. So why don't we take a look now at our dialogue? Let's listen to it for the first time, and we'll be back.
Woohoo! This just might be the start of the rest of my life.
What happened?
I'm in the market for a job. I went on a website with hundreds of job listings in the area and browsed through them until I got the names of a few employers I would like to work for. I have the resume I wrote for English class last month, and a cover letter will be a piece of cake to write. I've even done my research and found the names of the managers so I can address the letters personally. And you know, I can be charming in interviews. Goodbye, my penniless days. Hello, salary and a career.
Ben, we're 15. What kind of job are you looking for?
Oh, just for a position as a gas station attendant. You know, starting at a simple lowly job, just like all the greats before they made it big in the world.
Uh-huh.
But I'm just in it for the money, right? How else am I going to be able to afford to keep taking Angela to the movies? Besides, I love the smell of gasoline. Don't you?
All right, we're back. So now you're probably wondering what those words meant. So why don't we take a look at a couple of them in Language Takeaway.
Language takeaway.
The first phrase we have today is one that's very important when you're looking for a job. It's called job listing or job listings here.
Okay, job listings. And this is really common. Before the internet existed, you would have the listings in your local newspaper, right?
Exactly. And in the movies, you always had the person sitting with the newspaper circling the potential jobs.
Right, with a red marker.
Exactly. But now that we have the internet, you have lots of websites that have job listings. And so a job listing is literally a list of jobs that are available.
Okay. So you look through the job listings, maybe you found one that's interesting. There's an email address. So what do they ask for? They ask you to send in your resume.
Okay, a resume is very important when you're looking for a job. It's a document, it's a piece of paper that tells someone all of the work that you've done before, your job experiences, and it tells them where you went to school and what your qualifications are. So it's a summary of your work life.
Okay, and that's why it's called a resume, right? It's pretty much a summary of your work life, as you say.
That's right, and a different one, sometimes people use this, is a CV. Curriculum vitae, and that's an academic summary of your life. So you have the work summary and the study summary.
Okay, very good. So if you send in your resume, what's recommended is that you attach it with a cover letter.
Okay, well, cover letter, you know the word letter. It's something that you write to somebody else. But a cover letter is like a cover for your resume. It's a letter where you explain to the future boss or future employer what exactly you want and how this job is going to help you get it.
Okay. So that's basically a small little introduction to yourself, right? Before they read your resume, who you are, what you're looking for, maybe very quickly.
Exactly. So you could say, hi, my name is Catherine. I'm very motivated and excited to have the opportunity to talk to you about why I'm a skilled employee and why I will benefit your company.
Very good. All right. So you've sent in your resume and your cover letter. And, well, maybe you're looking to get into a career as a gas station attendant.
So what's the difference between job and career?
Okay, and this is very interesting because in many languages, there is a similar word, which, for example, in Spanish is carrera, right? And that means like a profession. So many people translate it literally as career, but it's not the right word. What is a career?
A career I think of as a long-term goal. A career is your profession. It's the name you give yourself. But a job is a position in a company from one time to another. So for example, my job here is host of English Pod. But maybe in the future I will have a media career.
Okay.
That means that my job or jobs will have to do with this profession. It's kind of a bigger thing.
Okay.
A longer thing.
So maybe you can think of it this way. A career is like, as you say, a bigger picture, like the macro category, right? You're into media and television, for example. And your job specifically is a podcast host.
But in the future, maybe I want to have a different job in this career and move into production and be a TV producer.
Right.
So that's a part of my career path. I can move it forward. So career is a very important word.
All right. So we've taken a look at a couple of great words. Why don't we listen to our dialogue again, and we'll be back in a bit.
Woohoo! This just might be the start of the rest of my life.
What happened?
I'm in the market for a job. I went on a website with hundreds of job listings in the area and browsed through them until I got the names of a few employers I would like to work for.
I have the resume I wrote for English class last month, and a cover letter will be a piece of cake to write. I've even done my research and found the names of the managers so I can address the letters personally. And I can be charming in interviews. Goodbye, my penniless days. Hello, salary and a career.
Ben, we're 15. What kind of job are you looking for?
Oh, just for a position as a gas station attendant. Starting at a simple lowly job, just like all the greats before they made it big in the world.
Uh-huh.
But I'm just in it for the money, right? How else am I going to be able to afford to keep taking Angela to the movies? Besides, I love the smell of gasoline. Don't you?
All right, we're back. So now we have lined up for you 3 key phrases that we found in this dialogue. So let's take a look at those now in Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
This first one's a great phrase. It's going to make you sound very fluent in English if you use it. We say in the market for.
I'm in the market for a new job.
All right, so this person is looking for a new job. He is in the market for. I could also say, I'm in the market for a new house. Marco, do you know any good real estate agents?
So what does that mean if you say, I'm in the market for a new job, or you're in the market for a new house?
I am right now actively looking for this thing. I really want one.
You're available.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm in the market for a new job. I'm in the market for a new car. It means the market is the marketplace.
Right. And this sometimes you could see it related in movies, for example. They say if a person gets married, they are no longer in the market. Right.
Or I'm in the market for a husband.
Right.
Do you know any nice guys?
All right. So you're in the market, you're looking for a job. And well, if you're qualified, it will be a piece of cake to find a new job.
Isn't this a delicious phrase? So piece of cake, you think, what does cake have to do with anything? Well, cake, this is a way to say something is easy. Okay, so
it's really easy.
This often happens in our office, actually, because you and I understand computers, but we work with someone who has a hard time with computers. And,
right.
And she says, it doesn't work.
And we're like, it's a piece of cake.
It's a piece of cake. It's so easy. Why is this hard? So a piece of cake is a way to say something simple. It's easy.
And it's a very, very, very common phrase. You'll hear it all the time. Piece of cake. Don't worry about it.
Piece of cake. Hey, can you help me out with this thing?
Sure, it's a piece of cake.
Okay.
All right. And for our last phrase, he was talking about his position as a gas attendant, and he said, well, all the greats, all the famous people, they started somewhere before they made it big. What does he mean with they made it big?
Well, the phrase to make it big, or in here in the past tense, made it big, means to be successful. So we're talking about, for example, Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein worked in the patent office he was a clerk in Europe. And, that's not a very impressive job, but it was a job. And he made it big later on as a physicist. And so to make it big is to succeed, to become famous or successful or important.
Right. Or sometimes people say, yeah, I made it. I made it big, or I made it in my life. And that means that you were successful.
Or this product is going to make it big. It's going to be really successful.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so it's a key phrase, to make it, or to make it big. Why don't we listen to our dialogue for the last time, and we'll be back in a little bit.
Woohoo! This just might be the start of the rest of my life.
What happened?
I'm in the market for a job. I went on a website with hundreds of job listings in the area and browsed through them until I got the names of a few employers I would like to work for. I have the resume I wrote for English class last month, and a cover letter will be a piece of cake to write. I've even done my research and found the names of the managers so I can address the letters personally. And I can be charming in interviews. Goodbye, my penniless days. Hello, salary and a career.
Ben, we're 15. What kind of job are you looking for?
Oh, just for a position as a gas station attendant. Starting at a simple lowly job, just like all the greats before they made it big in the world.
Uh-huh.
But I'm just in it for the money, right? How else am I going to be able to afford to keep taking Angela to the movies? Besides, I love the smell of gasoline. Don't you?
All right, so talking about jobs, now I noticed something that in the United States, unlike many other countries, there are no gas station attendants anymore.
There are. Touche. There are actually a lot of gas station attendants in New Jersey because
really?
it's the law that you cannot pump your own gas. You
Oh,
cannot
wow.
put gas in your own car.
Why is that?
It's a way for the New Jersey government to increase the amount of jobs in the state. So to create jobs, they made gas station attendants.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I've noticed in some states, for example, you just go up to the pump, and if you have your credit card, you put in your credit card and you pump your own gas. And apparently it also has to do with health issues, because people who are working in gas stations tend to have serious health problems later on. I mean, you're inhaling all these gases from the gasoline.
That's right. It's very unhealthy. And I think that's also very dangerous in some places because gas stations are often robbed.
Yeah.
Because there's only one person and no security sometimes.
Yeah.
So there are some negative parts of being a gas station attendant. But if it's a job and you need a job, it's probably a good one.
Yeah, no, true. I remember seeing Back to the Future when in the 50s you would pull up to a gas station and somebody would check your tire pressure, they would check your oil, and they would clean your windows, and it's just like full service when you pulled up to a gas station.
They might even buy you a beer. No.
All right, so it's really interesting about these positions. I imagine that, in other places, some job positions that maybe we would find a little bit strange or uncommon.
Absolutely. And I encourage everyone today, this is your homework. Tell us on EnglishPod.com, what is your job and what's your career? Okay?
Okay.
What's your job and what's your career? So what's the career you would like to have in the future?
Very good. All right, so we'll see you guys there.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.